What's going on, my people? This is the MMA and Boxing Addicts channel, and today we're going to be breaking down the amazing fight cards we had last night when it comes to UFC and boxing, my peoples. You had Richardson Hitchins going in there against George Kambosos Jr. and putting on one of the most dominant, most amazing performances that I've seen anybody put on against George Kambosos Jr., my friends, even Lomachenko. And not just that, Joaquin Buckley and Kamar Usman. What a fight, my friends. I mean, you had Kamar Usman come in here and absolutely dominate every single round leading up into that fifth round. Joaquin Buckley was trying to get the knockout, looking for those Mike Tyson hooks, trying to get it, but he just couldn't land it, as you had Kamar Usman backing up, running the whole last round, knowing that he had already secured the first 4 rounds, my friends. What an absolutely amazing weekend we had. I know some people think that UFC card wasn't that exciting, but I thought it was a great card. I know the fans were booing a lot in the stadium, but hey, it seems like nobody is starting to appreciate wrestling anymore when it comes to UFC and MMA, my friends. But hey, we're going to start off with talking about the boxing card that took place in New York, my friends, at the Madison Square Garden. Right here for Hitchins and George Kambosos Jr. Starting off with Adam McCaw. I mean, dude, Adam McCaw, this kid just comes in here. The first round absolutely dominates it. You know, he's trying to figure out his opponent like he did when he was in his amateur days in the Olympics, my friends. Now, hey, he comes in there in the second round and absolutely dominates homeboy. Ends up getting the TKO stoppage, dude. You got his fans going absolutely crazy. He comes out in his Albania colors. He's only 18 years old. I already knew, man, when you looked at this guy's amateur style and you looked at the way he competed in the amateurs, I always said that this guy's style was going to be perfect for the pros. He comes forward. He's an exciting fighter. He's defensively sound. He keeps his hands up. And is not afraid to throw down, which is, I would say, us boxing fans, an absolute delight, man. He's amazing to watch. Great win for Adam McCaw. Then you had Nashante Dev, the Indian, one of the best fighters from India, who's an absolute sensation over there, my friends. He comes in there and dominates the whole fight, man. I mean, dude, both of these kids right here are going to be stars later on in the feature of boxing, my friends. It was absolutely amazing to see. You had Andy Cruz. You know, this man took on Keyshawn Davis in the Olympics, my friends, and he beat Keyshawn Davis to win gold. Oh, man, I really wanted Keyshawn Davis to win that fight. We were watching it live. He took silver, but it's all right. Andy Cruz in the Olympics was just absolutely sensational. His head movement, it was like he was dancing in there. Now, him in the pros has been absolutely sensational, man. He goes in there and absolutely dominates again, my friend. I mean, dominates homeboy, just wiping the floor with him, doing everything he wants, doing anything he wants, and he's not afraid to put himself in the fire. That's the thing about Andy Cruz, bro, is he uses his defense, he uses his head movement beautifully, but he puts his combos together and he's looking to go in there and put some damage on his opponents, my friends. And after that, you know, he's chasing the Keyshawn Davis fight. He doesn't want to fight Keyshawn Davis yet, but he does say somewhere down the road that is going to be a fight that he wants to make. Now, the problem is, I think Andy Cruz is amazing, but as you guys know, he's fighting at 135 right now. And Keyshawn Davis, he's at 135 too, but he can't even make that weight no more. As you guys know, he just missed by 4.5 pounds against your boy Edwin Dos Santos, all right? Andy Cruz is not the type of guy that carries a lot of power. I mean, I know he got the stoppage, but when you look at that win, it took a lot of punches. He got the win, kind of like how Lomachenko would get his wins, with just an absolute barrage of combos and nonstop pressure, my friends. And that's what he was able to do this Saturday, my guys. Again, nonstop pressure, but again, his power wasn't there. I think when he runs into a fighter who doesn't respect his power and also has skills from the South, like Keyshawn Davis, I think that's going to be a better fight to make, my friends. But hey, what a great win from Andy Cruz, and it's exciting to watch it from the Olympics, now in the pros, making his way on up, my people. Then we go to the main event, and this is what I want to talk about, my people. I knew Richardson Hitchins was going to win this fight coming in against Kambosos Jr. As you know, I don't think Kambosos Jr. is a natural 140 pounder. obviously there was no power in him in that fight. Even his jab, when he was jabbing to the body, it was so slow and just so not beautiful at all that you had Richardson Hitchins literally counting over with the right hook. Anytime that George Kambosos decided to jab, and anytime George decided to go to the body, he was leaving his head exposed. Where Hitchins, I swear you could see it as you were watching the fight that the counter was there, and he was getting the counters all night, my friends. Dude, the performance that Richardson Hitchins did, he wasn't running the whole fight. A lot of people were saying that, oh, you're going to be running this whole fight, and Richardson Hitchins is a runner. He is not a runner, my friends. I think yesterday he displayed one of the most beautiful inside the pocket head movement counter boxing that we've ever seen. He's right there putting his offense on. And then anytime that George Kambosos Jr. tried to throw hooks or anything, Richardson Hitchins would move his head without even having to back up at times and just counter him. He was catching his punches. Everything was on sound when it came to Richardson Hitchins. I never seen Hitchins look that good before. Every single time he comes out and he faces a higher and higher level of opponent, Richardson Hitchins comes out and performs beautifully, my friends. Now, hey, you know, he won that title against Liam Peru to win the IBF junior welterweight title, and now he's just taken out your boy George Kambosos Jr., who's a guy who's been in there with Devin Haney twice. He's beat the likes of Teofimo Lopez. He's been in there with Lebenchenko. And Richardson Hitchins just put on one of the most beautiful displays that I've seen anybody put on against George Kambosos Jr., man. And shout out to George. You know, I love his style. He's always there to fight. That fight was absolutely amazing. If you're not a fan of that fight, then you ain't a fan of boxing, my friends. I'm telling you right now, it was beautiful. Watching Richardson Hitchins in there, I thought I was watching Floyd Mayweather Sr. mixed with a little bit of Whitaker. I mean, dude, it was amazing, man. So technically sound. After watching that, I don't think Teofimo Lopez wants anything to do with your boy Hitchins. I know he went into the ring after, and he's saying this is the takeover and this and that. But I'm telling you right now, I don't think that fight's going to happen, my friends. And you guys seen after. You seen after Richardson Hitchins calling out Devin the Dream Haney, saying, you and your dad, this and that. I love it, dude. I love the tenacity from Richardson Hitchins. He was, you know, if you didn't know of him then now you know of him now, my friends. Absolutely amazing stuff. And another thing I want to talk about when it comes to this card, you had Bill Haney. You know, Bill Haney, after you had, Fight Hype that was chasing him around, trying to get interviews in there, trying to get the interviews as Bill Haney was walking around. He asks Bill Haney, what did you think of Richardson Hitchins' performance? Is this a fight that you want to make next with Devin Haney? And the whole time, Bill Haney was just walking away, not wanting to answer the question. He didn't even want to give Richardson Hitchins his props. Like I'm saying that he looked absolutely fantastic. He was just avoiding the question and avoiding saying that, yeah, like he don't want a piece of Devin Haney. He don't want a piece of Devin Haney. He don't want a piece of me, which he's promoting his son. And he's trying to, you know, he has to say that his son is the best. But guys, I think they're not going to be fighting Richardson Hitchins anytime soon, my friends. I just can't see that happening. I think Devin Haney probably going to go fight at 147, or we'll see he's going to fight at 140. I mean, Teofimo Lopez doesn't want that fight. They try to make it happen. You guys, absolutely phenomenal weekend. We had Richardson Hitchins, Adam McCaw, Dev, your boy Andy Cruz. Everybody put on an absolutely fantastic show, and I think the fans got their money's worth, my friends. Fantastic to see. Now, we're going over to the UFC. An absolutely fantastic card too, man. I thought it was amazing. The first fight that I want to start off with, my friends, is I want to talk about Chris Montehinho, and I want to talk about Malcolm Wowmaker, my friends. I mean, dude, what an absolute mismatch. I thought Chris Montehinho, coming off 5 fights, you know, I know he's been knocked out twice in the UFC. He got stopped by Sugar Sean O'Malley. You know, he was getting too beat down. It was just too good for him. He doesn't know his own good, man. He was going to go in there and get absolute brain damage if they would have let that fight carry on with Sugar Sean O'Malley. Then he goes in there with Guido Canetti and gets knocked out in the first round. The UFC decides to release him. He ends up building a 5-fight win streak with a couple finishes, my friends, by knockout, by submission, and then decide to match him up with Malcolm Wowmaker, who's an absolute ferocious 31-year-old man who was just a Wilder a year ago. and has decided to turn this UFC career into a full-time thing, my friends. And hey, absolute mismatch. You go in there and Wowmaker just devastatingly knocks him out in the first round with a beautiful right hand. Not even a strong hand. Just a beautiful right hook. Boom. And just it looks so technically sound. His boxing was amazing, dude. The way he keeps his hands up, the way he's ducking and dodging and trying to land those hooks. Bro, it was amazing. He kind of reminds me of Joshua Van a little bit, but this kid is going to be an absolute star, dude. It is three first-round KOs. He's coming off Dana White Contender Series with a first-round KO. Then he comes in and fights the prospect, Cameron Simon from South Africa, and gets the first-round KO. And now he does this to Chris Montehinho. Now, I know Chris Montehinho is not UFC caliber at all. You've seen that again in this fight. As that fight was going, it looked like Wowmaker was technically just too good. Chris Montehinho has terrible head movement. He doesn't know how to move his head in these goddamn fights, and he's getting rocked all over the place, my friends. It was sad to see Chris go out like that. Again, on 11-day notice, the UFC just can't match this guy up with somebody he can beat. Man, I wonder if they're going to give him another shot in the UFC. That was absolutely insane, my friends. And then let's talk about Paul Craig and Rodolfo Bellato, my friends. I mean, dude, in the first round, Rodolfo Bellato wasn't even freaking winning the round. He ends up on top of Paul Craig. Paul Craig got him in full guard, and Paul Craig decides to hit him with an up kick. He goes, boom. And then Rodolfo Bellato pulls off one of the craziest flops that I've ever seen in my life. I'm talking about worse than Cristiano Ronaldo, worse than soccer players do, and sometimes worse than basketball players do. You had, and if he really got knocked out, I'm sorry, Bellato, but dude, it did not look like you got knocked out. It looked like you got hit with the up kick, and as you turn to look at the ref, you go, and then as you look at the ref and you turn to look at him, somewhere in your head you decide, oh, let me flop this so it can make it look way worse than it is. And he goes, hey, he fucking goes to sleep, my friends. He closes his eyes and goes to sleep. And then 3 seconds later, he wakes up. He goes, what? And then he fucking backs up on the cage, scareder than I've ever seen anybody scared in my life. It's like he woke up from a bad dream of him just getting like killed by freaking the Saw characters. I mean, dude, it looked like he's seen something that he wasn't supposed to see in his lifetime. Like he seen aliens for the first time, the way he was reacting. Dude, he backed up and his eyes were so wide open. Guys, it was the craziest flop that I've ever seen. Now, if I'm mistaken, and Bellato really did maybe look at the ref and then his brain 3 seconds later ended up reacting late, then I'm sorry. But dude, I'm telling you guys right now, that looked like an absolute flop that your boy Rodolfo Bellato put in that fight against Paul Craig, man. You have the whole MMA world, the whole boxing, everybody's talking about what Bellato just pulled off, my friends, and it ended up being a no contest. I don't even think he was going to win that fight. Who knows, my friends? That could have actually worked in favor for him, and I'm surprised Dana White doesn't release this guy for absolutely flopping like that when people pay $500 a goddamn ticket, and that's for cheapo seats to be able to watch a guy pull off a flop like that, my people. Insane from Bellato, my people. Hey, as you guys know, Cody Garbrandt also fought against Ronnie Barcelos. And hey, Ronnie Barcelos, this man is working his way up, dude. He's coming off beating Payne Tabiet, a kid that from Las Vegas that everybody thought was going to be the next big thing. He went in there and wrestled the whole time. He absolutely dominated Payton. Now, he goes in there and gets Cody Garbrandt. And don't get me wrong, it was a little bit closer of a fight. Cody was having success when it came to the takedown defense. But Ronnie Barcelos' striking was just proved to be too much, dude. He was hitting Cody Garbrandt with right hands, left hooks. Barcelos' striking looked absolutely improved. Now, I don't know, because that is against a guy like Cody Garbrandt, who I would say is on the tail end of his career, my friends. But a fantastic win from Ronnie, the Brazilian Barcelos, my friend. That was a great, great win. You had Thug Rose go in there against, what's her name, Miranda Maverick, and absolutely dominate her. I thought Miranda Maverick won that fight. There's some people thought that. I mean, I thought Thug Rose won that fight. There's some people that thought Miranda Maverick won that fight. But as I was watching it in time, let's go back and rewatch that fight, even though it's a women's fight, and we don't have to debate this. But I thought Thug Rose won every single round. I thought she dominated that fight. I thought she looked fantastic in that fight. I thought Miranda Maverick thought she was going to come in here and be the stronger fighter, even though she almost had that triangle arm choke. Don't get me wrong. But still, my friends, what a great win from Thug Rose. Glad to see her get it done. You know, she's a pioneer in women's MMA, and she's just amazing to see, my friends. Then we go to the Joaquin Buckley and Kamar Usman fight, my people. And I want to talk about this. What a performance we got from Joaquin Buckley to be able to go in there and absolutely dominate your boy Joaquin Buckley. Kamar Usman, I mean, dude, his striking's phenomenal. His wrestling is phenomenal. I made a video talking about how if he beats Joaquin Buckley tonight, we're going to be looking back at that Khamzat Chimaev fight saying that wasn't a flop. This guy, Kamar Usman, who is arguably one of the greatest UFC welterweight champions of all time, had one of the greatest win streaks of all time, went in there against Khamzat Chimaev and gave Khamzat one of his hardest fights in his career. I had it 1-1 going into the third, my friends. That wasn't a flop. Dude, he's just that good. And that was in the middleweight division. He comes in there against Joaquin Buckley and dominates every single round, taking Joaquin Buckley down every round and just holding him on the floor. Great top pressure. Not really doing the most offensive striking on the floor now, but just absolutely controlling him. Joaquin Buckley had no answers at all, even when they were standing up for the first 4 rounds. Kamar Usman's defense and his movement proved to just be a little bit too much for Joaquin Buckley's just crazy hooks and stuff like that, man. I thought Joaquin Buckley was going to win that fight. In the 5th round, he almost did. He tried going for the Mike Tyson hooks, uppercuts, and landing a few and making Kamar Usman just run the whole goddamn round. But hey, I don't blame Kamar Usman, man. He went in there. He won the first 4 rounds. He knows that all I got to do is make it to the 5th to be able to secure this victory. I thought it was a great fight. I thought we had ourselves a great night of UFC cards, man. There was Jose Ochoa getting the stoppage. You know, it's just absolutely amazing. A great fight. You had Jamie Lynn Horth beating the crap out of Vanessa Dulas in the beginning, destroying her, my friends. Dude, what a good weekend we had for UFC and boxing, my friends. And hey, I want to finish off by saying happy Father's Day to all my fathers out there. If you made it to the end of this video, shout out to you, my people. You know, everybody that's grinding out here, that's trying to provide for their families, that every day they're waking up in the mornings, you know, they're going to work. If you work the night shift, if you work in the morning, it doesn't matter. You're out here grinding. You're doing things for your family. Shout out to you, my people. And shout out to the people out there that, you know, they don't have their fathers, man. And they miss their dads and they wish that they were there and shit. Hey, happy Father's Day to your dad, man. And just always remember that they loved you, my people, and we love you, my people. All the fathers out there, and even the mothers that didn't get risen, that didn't have a boyfriend to rise their kids, that had to be the father figure in their kids' position, my friends. Shout out to all you people out there, my guys. Hey, absolute great weekend Saturday Night Fights. My name is Alex Ramos. This is the MMA and Boxing Addicts channel, and I'm out.